Hi, my name is Caitlin, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about one of my absolute favorite animals, the koala bear. Today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what a koala is, where they live, what they eat, and a little bit about the lifestyle of a koala. I hope you enjoy listening to this information as much as I enjoyed finding it. What is a koala bear? Technically, a koala bear is not a bear at all. It's actually a marsupial, which is a type of animal that carries its babies in a pocket of skin on the mother's stomach, which is defined by Webster. The first recorded encounter with a koala bear was back in 1798 by a European explorer whose name was never found. The first name given to our friends was actually Phascolarctos, and that was in 1816. Broken down, it's a Greek name, and Phascolos is Greek for pouch, and Arctos is Greek for bear, also defined by Webster. The name koala wasn't given to our friends until 1827 by a naturalist, John Edward Gray. He was also an Australian biographer. Today, koalas are recognized as a symbol of Australia. Some characteristics that define our friends are they can be anywhere from 24 to 33 inches in length. They can also range from anywhere between 9 to 33 pounds. Their fur can range from a silvery gray to a shaggy, darker brown color. And though their fur looks soft and cuddly, it's actually very coarse. It's coarse because it's very weather resistant, and it's actually one of the most effective insulative furs of any mammal. Its belly fur, however, is a lot shorter, and it's actually white. It's so white, in fact, that it actually reflects solar radiation. Another characteristic of koalas is that they don't have tails. They're also known for their large heads and large noses. Another interesting fact that I learned about koalas is that they actually have two opposing claws on both their hands and feet. That would be like having two thumbs on your hands and your feet. The reason for this is it makes it easier for them to climb trees and grab their leaves at the same time. The way that I learned that you can distinguish a male koala from a female koala is that male koalas are actually 50% larger than female koalas, and that they also have visible chest glands, which we can go into more detail about later on. I also learned that koalas have one of the smallest brains in body proportion of any mammal. Their brain actually only occupies 61% of their cranial cavity, and is surrounded by mostly brain fluid. There are two theories as to why their brain is so small, and the first theory is that the brain fluid is used almost like a shock absorber for when they fall from higher trees. The second theory is that due to the lack of nutrients and energy use of a koala's daily lifestyle, the size of their brain has shrunk over time. Because of the smaller brain, koalas are actually unable to perform complex or unfamiliar tasks. For example, I learned that if a koala was on the ground and there was leaves surrounding it, it would actually pass those leaves and climb a tree to pick its own leaves, because it's not familiar with picking leaves up off the ground. Compared to other marsupials, their sense of smell and hearing is actually relatively normal. Their vision, however, is not as great. They think that this may be due to the fact that koalas have such smaller eyes, and also because they have vertical slits for pupils as opposed to the circular pupils that most mammals have. Where koalas live. As I'm sure most of you are aware, koalas are native to Australia. However, what you may not have known is that koalas prefer to be along the east coast. They can most commonly be found in the states of Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia. It's actually how they're also divided into subspecies. There are 3 different subspecies. The first one, the Queensland koala, is the smallest, and it has short silvery fur. Another way to identify it is its shorter skull. The New South Wales koala is in between the smaller and the larger of the koalas. The Victorian koala is the largest, and it has long, shaggy brown fur. It also has a whiter skull. Originally, koalas only lived in rainforests, but due to the environmental changes and the drier climate, koalas have adapted, and they are now more partial to woodlands, but can also still be found in open forests. They can be found in climates ranging from tropical to cool temperate. However, if they are found in the higher temperature areas, they prefer to be near streams or creeks or any body of water or water source to help themselves cool down quickly. Due to the environmental changes, some of the threats Threats that koalas face are the newer pathogens, brush fires, and droughts. However, the biggest threat to koalas' existence today are habitat deconstruction. I also learned that two of the biggest threats to koala bears today, due to the new environments, are dogs and cars. Koalas obviously don't move very fast, so when they're crossing the streets, cars don't look for them, and for some reason, dogs are very fond of chasing them. What a koala eats. Koalas are herbivores, which defined by Webster are animals that eat plants. Originally, when koalas lived in rainforests, they had a wide variety of diets. Today, however, due to the environmental changes, koalas will only eat eucalyptus. Today, there have been over 300 different types of eucalyptus discovered. However, our friends the koalas will only prefer 12 to 15 different kinds. One interesting fact that I learned about eucalyptus is that it is a poisonous plant. Due to the fact that they had to adapt for their diet, their digestive systems have also adapted to digest the poison. In fact, it is believed that since digesting the poison uses so much of the energy, this could be a major contributing factor as to why koalas sleep so much. Koalas will eat about 16 ounces of leaves per day, and they eat 4 to 6 times per day. Most of the water consumption is through the leaves. In fact, female koalas will rarely be seen drinking water. Male koalas, on the other hand, will actually take time out of their day to drink water. The lifestyle of a koala. Koalas can be very interesting animals, however, they're also pretty boring. They can be pretty boring. Because their diet lacks many nutrients and they use up a lot of their energy digesting the poisonous leaves, they sleep up to 20 hours per day. The few hours that they spend awake, they use to collect food and move to new trees. I found it interesting to learn that koalas will actually sleep in a new tree every night. Perhaps it's because they're too lazy to move back to the tree they slept in the night before. They're only active for about 4 minutes per day, and it wasn't noted, but I'm assuming it's because they spend that 4 minutes moving from one tree to the other tree. They're only awake at night, which technically qualifies them as nocturnal animals. However, they're only awake for a couple hours, so who knows. When a koala finally finds a new tree that they're comfortable in, you'll often find them sleeping with their back to a branch or with their stomach on a branch with their limbs hanging down. Other facts that I learned about koalas is that the only bonding that you'll find between koalas is from a mother to its dependent children, also known as joeys. Females will only communicate with their dependent children, and they communicate by bellowing. Males will communicate with deep, loud bellows, and the reasons for communicating are often either to intimidate rivals or to attract mates. They will also communicate by using the scent glands that we talked about earlier that come from their chest glands that are visible. And they use this scent to mark their territory. I also found a couple of interesting facts about reproduction when it comes to koalas. I found it interesting to learn that a mother koala will only be pregnant for 35 days. After that 35 days, and when the joey is born, it crawls up into the mother's pouch. The new koala will live in its mother's pouch from 6 to 7 months, where it nurses strictly from its mother. After that time is when a koala will start to visually peek out and learn more about its new world. A baby koala, or a joey, is fully weaned from its mother at about 1 year. However, there may be exceptions if another joey is present and kicks the first joey out of the pouch. Those were some of the interesting facts I learned about a koala's lifestyle. In my speech, I talked a little bit about what a koala is, where they live, what they eat, and the lifestyle of a koala. I found a lot of these facts to be new and very interesting. I hope that you enjoyed my speech as much as I enjoyed giving it to you. Thank you for listening.